su mano derecha, por favor.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Te jura o afirma solemnemente que el testimonio que va a proporcionar va a ser la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Karimi. Ms. Hall, you're done with all of your remarks? All right, it is 2 o'clock. We are on the record, live streaming on YouTube. Folks, you all are here for your first appearance.
Estamos ahora en las actas, estamos transmitiendo en vivo por YouTube y estamos aquí en la primera comparecencia.
You have the right to an attorney.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado.
If you have a private attorney, then please tell me that.
Si usted tiene un abogado privado, por favor, déjemelo saber.
If you'd like the public defender, then I'll appoint one to represent you.
Si quiere el abogado de oficio, entonces yo le asignaría uno para que le represente.
When we call your name, we will advise you of the charges pending against you.
Cuando escuche su nombre, le vamos a informar el cargo o cargos que pesan en su contra.
I will determine whether there was probable cause for your arrest.
Yo voy a determinar entonces si existe causa probable para su arresto.
And address the conditions of your pretrial release.
Y hablar sobre las condiciones de su libertad condicional.
If I issue a no contact order in your case,
Si yo emito una orden que le podría tener contacto con otra persona relacionada con su caso,
then you must deliver all firearms, then you may not have any contact with the individuals listed directly or indirectly.
entonces no puede tener ningún contacto directo o indirectamente con las personas que aparecen en la orden.
That means you may not contact them in any way, shape, or form,
Eso quiere decir que usted no se puede comunicar con esta persona de ninguna manera.
and no one else may contact them for you.
Nadie puede comunicarse con estas personas a nombre suyo.
If I issue a no weapons order in your
Si
case,
yo emito una orden relacionada con armas,
then you must deliver all firearms to the sheriff as a condition of your release.
usted tiene que entregarle todas las armas a la policía del condado como una de las condiciones de su libertad.
You have the right to remain
Usted
silent.
tiene el derecho de permanecer en silencio.
Everything you say today will be recorded
Todo lo que usted diga hoy será grabado
and may be used against you later.
y podría ser utilizado en su contra más adelante.
We have Ms. Karimi on the telephone for the state.
Tenemos a la señorita Karimi por teléfono de parte de la Fiscalía
Ms. Hall is here for the Public Defender's
y la
Office.
señorita Hall está aquí de parte de la oficina del abogado del oficio.
Ariel Armas Diaz,
Ariel Armas Díaz,
charged with trespass. Sir, sorry.
acusado de entrar a un lugar sin permiso.
Do you want the public defender?
¿Usted quiere el abogado del oficio? No.
Do you plan to represent yourself or hire a lawyer?
¿Usted tiene planes de representarse usted mismo o contratar un abogado? Oh, myself.
So you want to proceed today without a lawyer?
Así que usted quiere proceder hoy sin abogado? Yes, without an attorney.
I read the paperwork and find probable cause.
Yo leí los papeles y determiné que existe causa probable.
Do you have any comments on bond?
¿Usted tiene algún comentario sobre la fianza? No.
State?
Fiscalía.
Bond is $2,000.
La fianza es $2,000.
No alcohol.
No puede tener alcohol.
No trespass at 7-Eleven
Se le prohíbe ir al 7-Eleven
at the location of this incident.
en la localización donde ocurrió este incidente.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Irv Desimore, charged with DUI and DUI with damage to property.
Your Honor, he's going to need a Creole interpreter.
We don't have one. All right, I'll have to call language line later. We'll recall him. Joshua Miller is charged with possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana. Sir, do you want the public defender to represent you?
Yes, sir.
All right, public defender is appointed. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, comments on bond. State? Bond on count 1 is $5,000. Count 2 is $5,000. Count 3 is $2,000. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Devin Timoney is charged with battery. Sir, do you want the public defender to represent you? All right, public defender is appointed. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, comments on bond. State?
I don't have comments on this case. He is currently out on bond in a Lee County case. It's a robbery with a firearm and resisting an officer without violence. That's Lee County case number 19 CF 500. As an acting circuit court judge, I'd ask the court to revoke that bond in this case.
All right, Ms. Creamy, question about the no trespass order. It's interesting, pursuant to the booking sheet, it appears as though this was not at a residence, but maybe close to a residence, and that residence was the defendant's grandfather's, not the alleged victim. Are you asking, and I don't have an address for the alleged victim. There is reference in the booking sheet at one point about her home, and I think it was Lehigh Acres. So I don't have an address other than what I believe to be grandfather's address here in Naples. Are you requesting a no trespass order for that local address?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I didn't think that was appropriate either. I'm going to strike that. All right, sir, I've issued a no contact order. Well, let me go back, Ms. Karimi. The no contact order will include the alleged victim and the eyewitness who was a neighbor. Are you requesting one for the defendant's grandfather as well?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm striking that as well. All right, sir, I've signed a no contact order for the alleged victim and the witness, and a no weapons order. Did you hear me explain those orders just a few minutes ago? Do you understand them? Bond is $10,000, and the state's motion is granted in 19 CF 500. Thank you, sir. Reginald Gavin. Mr. Gavin is charged with possession of cocaine. Different. All right, thank you. They've got him. Well, I can call language line right now if that's, is it? Well, is that the recall for Decimore?
Now we have a
Jeffrey Jean. All right, Mr. Jean, you're charged with possession of weapon by a convicted felon, possession of cocaine with intent to sell, and possession of a controlled substance. Do you want the public defender? All right, public defender is appointed. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, do you have comments on bond?
Actually, I have a problem already.
Go ahead.
I couldn't find this additional drug and possession of controlled substance without prescription. They mentioned cocaine, and they mentioned possession of intent to sell. I don't see anything that requires a prescription under docs.
State?
I couldn't hear her, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
She's arguing against PC for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription.
Your Honor, he had 10 small clear baggies. Each baggie had a white powdery rock substance inside that tested positive for cocaine and amphetamines. And then later, there's what the officer described as a crack cookie that had tested positive. Well, it was identified as cocaine based, and then there was a supplemental report detailing the presumptive test will be attached to this report.
Sorry, those apply for the cocaine, but there's nothing in here that would be under the prescription. I think none of these things would be under the prescription.
What about the amphetamines?
I don't know how they would have found both of them since they're apparently the same exact substance.
I'm not.
Your Honor,
Ms. Cramy?
sorry.
Go ahead.
I keep hearing her say without prescription. I mean, I think that's just how it's worded. It charges 893.136A, which is the possession of controlled substance charge.
I'm looking at the booking sheet, which just charges possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of cocaine, possession with intent to sell, and then the booking sheet does say possession of a controlled substance without prescription. That's the booking sheet.
The statute is the same as the possession of cocaine statute, because that's the same statute we charge anybody for possession of controlled substance.
Right, no, I understand that's 893.13, but I thought you were saying you didn't see where she was coming up with without a prescription, and it's right there in the booking sheet. In any event, based on the inclusion of amphetamines, I do find probable cause on all counts. Ms. Hall, do you have comments on bond? State?
Your Honor, he has no ties to the community and extensive criminal history out of Miami-Dade. I would ask for double the scheduled bond for each count.
Bond on count 1 is $10,000. Bond on count 2 is $5,000. Bond on count 3 is $10,000. Bond on count 4 is $5,000. Thank you, sir. All right, so NJC, your last person there is Mr. Desimore. All right, we're gonna call language line.
Welcome to Language Line Solutions. Please enter your 6-digit client ID. For Spanish, press 1. For other, press 2. Please speak the name of the desired language.
Haitian Creole.
I understood. Haitian Creole. If this is correct, say yes or press 1. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Please hold for an interpreter. Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter. Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter.
Max is not here. NJC, do you know whether Mr. Desimore has applied for a public defender?
Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter.
Okay, thank you. We'll wait one more cycle here through the music, and then we're gonna have to move on.
Please continue to hold for the...
Okay, NJC, we're gonna have to move on. We can recall this at the end of the docket, but we've got to get to the other cases first. Has everybody been sworn in, or just that one room? Both. Okay. And this room we're going into is the final room? Or are we gonna switch again?
We'll have to switch again for a copy.
Oh, okay. All right, NJC, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, Your Honor.
All right, and Madam Clerk, you said all of these folks have been sworn in as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, good afternoon, folks. You're here for your first appearance.
Buenas tardes, señores. Están aquí para su primera comparecencia.
You have the right to a lawyer.
Usted tiene el derecho a tener un abogado.
If you have a private attorney, then please tell me that.
Si tiene un abogado privado, por favor, dígamelo.
If you want the public defender, then I will appoint one to represent
Si
you.
quiere el abogado de oficio, yo le asigno uno para que le represente.
When we call your name, we will advise you of the charges pending against you.
Cuando escuche su nombre, le vamos a informar de los cargos que pesan en su contra.
I will determine whether there was probable cause for your arrest
Yo voy a determinar si hubo causa probable para su arresto.
and address the conditions of your pretrial release.
Y podemos hablar sobre las condiciones de su libertad condicional.
If I issue a no contact order in your case,
Si yo emito una orden que le prohíbe tener contacto con otra persona,
then you may not have any contact with the individuals listed directly or indirectly.
Entonces no puede tener contacto directa o indirectamente con las personas que aparecen en los documentos.
That means you may not contact them in any way, shape, or form,
Eso quiere decir que usted no se puede comunicar con estas personas de ninguna manera
and no one else may contact them for
y
you.
nadie puede comunicarse con estas personas a nombre suyo.
If I issue a no weapons order in your case,
Si yo emito una orden que le prohíbe tener armas,
then you must deliver all firearms to the sheriff
entonces usted tiene que entregarle todas las armas a la policía del condado
as a condition of your release.
como una de las condiciones de su libertad.
You have the right to remain silent.
Usted tiene el derecho a permanecer en silencio.
Everything you say today will be recorded
Todo lo que usted diga hoy será grabado
and may be used against you later.
y podría ser utilizado en su contra más adelante.
Reginald Gavin is charged with possession of cocaine. Mr. Gavin, would you like the public defender? All right, public defender is appointed. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, do you have any comments on bond? I'm told he qualifies for pretrial release,
Yes, Your Honor.
and there's room.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you asking for that in the alternative? Ms. Karimi?
No comments, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Gavin will have the option of a $5,000 bond or pretrial release. Thank you, sir. Dion James. Mr. James is charged with possession of paraphernalia, driving on a suspended license. Mr. James, would you like the public defender?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, do you have any comments on bond?
I was just going to ask you for schedule on order. I don't see that you have any, time
I don't have the pretrial release.
Did I give you one of these? I thought I signed it. For Gavin?
Gavin.
I didn't sign one. Ms. Hall, your request was for scheduled bond. Okay. Ms. Creamy, response regarding Mr. James, please. The bond on count one is $2,000 on count two. Thank you, sir. Kevin Castro Salinas is here on a pardon? He's here on a violation of county probation. Sir, would you like the public defender?
Yes.
All right, public defender is appointed. Your presiding judge has already made a finding of probable cause and set bond at $2,000. Is there an immigration detainer in this case? Okay, thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I don't know why I was arrested. I didn't see no violation of my probation.
Can I see that? You didn't see a violation. You were arrested on a VOP warrant signed by your presiding judge, which indicates you were placed on probation in Collier County 11/25/2020 for possession of marijuana. You were placed on probation for 6 months, and you violated by not paying monthly probation fees, failing to comply with instructions from your probation officer, and failing to report within 72 hours of release. Those are the allegations in the warrant. All right, and you can talk to I appointed a lawyer, so you can talk to your lawyer about that as well. And in the meantime, bond is $2,000. Thank you, sir.
So, my bond is set.
Yes, sir. John Dacey, violation of an injunction for protection against domestic violence. Mr. Dacey, do you want a public defender?
My attorney is your name, but I was wondering why I was charged with a violation because I did not go near the victim.
Okay, well, I can tell you, hold on a second. I can tell you, first of all, Mrs. Mead is not in the courtroom. Secondly, if she was here in the courtroom, I imagine she would tell you not to discuss the facts of the case because of something I told you earlier. You have the right to remain silent. Everything you say is being recorded and may be used against you later. So you just said you believe that you have Mrs. Mead. So my next question is, do you want to proceed without her or come back tomorrow to give her more time to appear?
I would like to come back tomorrow.
All right, so this is a hold and return tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Juan Martinez Rangel, no valid DL attaching tag. I show that he bonded.
Juan
Okay.
Good afternoon, Judge Dominic Russo for Mr. Martinez. He has two charges, no bail DL, attached to no sign. I want today ask the state if, based on the charge, if the state would allow plea to time served on the no bail DL and no process attached tag not signed. He has an ice hold.
Ms. Karimi, did you hear Mr. Russo?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's start again. Mr. Martinez Rangel, you're charged with no valid driver's license and attaching tag not assigned.
Señor Martínez, usted ha sido acusado de dos delitos: manejar sin licencia de conducir válida y colocar una tablilla o una placa no asignada.
Sir, what is your name?
Señor, ¿cuál es su nombre? Juan Martínez Rangel.
And do you need a Spanish translator?
¿Y usted necesita un traductor de habla hispana? Yes.
I find that he does qualify for the translator.
Voy a determinar que sí califica para el traductor.
I've read the paperwork, find probable cause.
Yo leí los documentos, voy a determinar que existe causa probable.
And Mr. Russo is here on behalf of the defendant.
Y el señor Russo está aquí a nombre del acusado.
Can you repeat your request?
Yes,
¿Usted puede repetir su solicitud, por favor?
Ms. Karimi, Dominic Russo here asking if the state would allow a plea to the no bail DL and a null process and attached tag not assigned based on the ice hold.
Señorita Karimi, Dominic Russo aquí, estoy pidiendo a ver si se puede declarar culpable por acuerdo por el delito de manejar sin licencia de conducir válida, y ustedes desestimarían el cargo de colocar una placa no asignada debido a la situación de inmigración.
Yes, fine, Judge. I offer adjudication of time served and cost for no valid in exchange for dropping the second count.
Su señoría, condena de culpabilidad formal por el tiempo ya cumplido, y desestimaríamos el cargo de la placa a cambio de declararse culpable o no disputo por el cargo de la licencia.
Sir, the first charge is no valid driver's license.
Señor, el primer cargo es manejar sin licencia de conducir válida.
The offer again on that is an adjudication of guilt.
La oferta una vez más es condena de culpabilidad formal,
Court costs and costs of prosecution,
costos judiciales y costos por el procesamiento judicial,
and time served.
y el tiempo ya cumplido.
That means no additional jail time on that charge.
Eso quiere decir que no tendría que estar más en la cárcel por ese cargo.
If you accept the plea offer on that charge,
Y si usted acepta la oferta por ese cargo,
then the prosecutor will drop the second charge,
entonces la fiscal retiraría el segundo cargo,
which is attaching tag not assigned.
el cargo de colocar una placa no asignada.
Do you understand the offer?
¿Entiende la oferta? Yes.
Do you have any questions?
¿Usted tiene alguna pregunta? No. Sorry,
Your attorney, Mr. Russo, is in the courtroom.
Su abogado, el señor Russo, está en la sala del tribunal.
Do you have any questions for him?
¿Usted tiene alguna pregunta para él? Yeah, I plead guilty to not having a license.
All right, Mr. Russo, do you have anything further for your client?
Yes, just one thing. Resolving this case today, you will likely be transported to ICE immigration detention. Do you understand that?
Entienda que si usted resuelve este caso en el día de hoy, lo más probable usted sería transferido a las autoridades de inmigración y seguridad nacional. ¿Entiende eso? Yes.
Do you want to resolve your case today?
¿Usted quiere resolver su caso hoy? I don't know how that would. What do you advise, my attorney?
It's a good resolution because it's time served on the no valid DL. You do not have a license, and they're dropping the tax of the license plate charge tag.
Es una buena resolución porque es el tiempo ya cumplido por declararse culpable no disputo por el cargo de manejar sin licencia de conducir válida. Usted no tiene licencia y el cargo de la placa sería retirado.
But you have to understand that you will be transported to immigration detention from this jail.
Pero usted tiene que entender que usted sería transportado a las autoridades de inmigración desde esta cárcel. That's fine.
Sir, do you also understand that your plea today will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Señor, ¿usted también entiende que su declaración de culpable en el día de hoy sería utilizada en su contra en un procedimiento de deportación si usted no es ciudadano de los Estados Unidos? Yes.
Did you read a plea form?
¿Usted leyó un formulario para declararse culpable o no disputo?
Your Honor, he has not. We're filling one out right now. We'll have to read it.
Señoría, no lo ha hecho, le vamos a entregar una hora para que lo lea.
All right, he can have a seat, read that form, and we'll recall him shortly.
Puede tomar asiento y leer ese formulario y volvemos a convocarlo pronto.
Christopher Ott. All right. Mr. Ott refused, so we'll proceed in his absence. He's charged with battery, domestic violence, as a felony charge. Yep, I'm about to say that. Battery, domestic violence, second or subsequent, so that's a felony charge, and contempt of court based on a violation of a no contact order. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Comments on bond from the state.
Your Honor, the state is seeking a $100,000 bond in this case. I know the court is well aware that he just resolved his other case yesterday or a few days ago, where he was placed on probation. It was allegations involving the same victim as the court today. We asked for a no contact order again, and we'd also ask the court to issue a Whitman Act in 20 MM 1792.
Yes, NJC.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was confused because he was up in 31 Bravo and I thought maybe that was already taken care of, but was he a refusal up there?
I'm told that he's a refusal.
Okay, I didn't hear that part. I apologize.
Okay, that's all right. So bond on count 1 is 100,000. Bond on count 2 is 20,000. I did sign a no contact order and a no trespass order. I also signed a no weapons order, and the state's request for a Whitman Act warrant is granted in 20 MM 1792.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that Whitman's on the correct case. I have 21449.
This is Mr. Christopher. And Mr. Hendricks is checking as well. But he's still looking it up. Once he tells me, I'll put the correct number down.
I don't see where it says consecutive.
All right, so which case number do you believe is appropriate, Mr. Hendricks? The state has indicated she defers to you.
I think he's right. I think 1449 is the correct one.
The one we had was got 201449 MM.
Okay, so the Whitman Act is granted in 20 MM 1449. All right, Martin Ramirez.
He refused. He was here, Your Honor, and he didn't want to be here anymore.
All right, I can appreciate that. Then we'll proceed in his absence. He is here on a contempt or order to show cause and a violation of state probation. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. There's no bond on the violation of state probation pursuant to his presiding judge. Ms. Karimi, do you have comments on the contempt charge, count 1?
Judge, I just asked that he be held to be brought before Judge McGowan, unless Judge McGowan gave the court direction.
No, it just says that he would be brought before a court within 24 hours of pickup or execution of the writ of bodily attachment. And he's refused to come in.
Well, then I
Let me ask. I'm going to ask Madam Clerk about that. I know we're closed on Monday. It won't be then, but do you have the ability to tell me Judge McGowan's schedule for next week? Is he in court on Tuesday? He's a hard worker, Miss Creamy, but I doubt he'll be here on Monday.
Tuesday looks like he has a family docket at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11, and then he has domestic violence in the afternoon.
All right. What's his lightest docket in the morning? Can you tell number-wise?
Before 9.
Pardon?
9 o'clock is full, the 10 o'clock has 2 30-minute cases, and then 11 o'clock is an hour long. So maybe before 9, but I don't know what time.
I don't want to add to before 9. He may not be here before 9. Let's add this to the 11 o'clock docket. So we'll add Mr. Ramirez to Mr. McGowan's 11 o'clock docket on Tuesday. In the meantime, State, are you requesting any monetary bond on that count?
No, Judge, I think Judge McGowan can handle that. Tuesday. He's also already being held to a bond on the DOE, so it's
Yeah.
not going.
All right, so I'm just going to put to be seen on 119 at 11 o'clock for the contempt charge. And as you say, it's no bond on count 2. Okay. Sinan Romero. All right. Good afternoon, sir. What is your name,
Buenas tardes,
please?
señor. ¿Cuál es su nombre, por favor? Zenon Romero.
Mr. Romero, do you need a translator?
Señor Romero, ¿usted necesita un traductor? Yes.
All right, I find that he does qualify for a Spanish translator.
Y voy a determinar que él sí califica para un traductor de un hispano.
Sir, you're charged with DUI with damage to property,
Señor, usted ha sido acusado de DUI con daños a la propiedad,
leaving the scene of an accident,
abandonar la escena de un accidente,
driving on a suspended license,
manejar con la licencia suspendida
and DUI.
y DUI.
And there is an immigration detainer.
Y hay una orden de detención de inmigración.
Do you want the public defender to help you?
¿Usted quiere que el abogado de oficio le ayude? Yes.
Public defender is appointed.
El abogado de oficio es asignado.
I've read the paperwork, find probable cause.
Leí los documentos, determino que hay causa probable.
Ms. Hall, comments on bond.
Señorita Hall, comentarios sobre fianza. Solamente estoy pidiendo la fianza de rigor, su señoría.
State.
¿Está bien? No hay objeción.
Bond is $1,500 per count.
La fianza es 1,500 por cargo.
Additional conditions include no possession or consumption of alcohol
Condición adicional es no puede poseer ni consumir alcohol
and SoberLink prior to release.
y SoberLink antes de salir de la cárcel.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
John Saavedra Arellano. Mr. Saavedra Arellano, you're here as a fugitive from justice out of Lee County on an FTA for driving on a suspended license. And bond is $1,500. State, anything else from you? All right, that's it, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
NJC, are you ready on Martinez Rangel?
Yes.
All right, we'll recall his case with Mr. Russo. I'm in the middle of a plea colloquy on a no valid driver's license. Sir, have you had a chance now to read that plea form?
Señor, ¿usted ha tenido la oportunidad ahora de leer ese formulario para declararse culpable? Yes.
Do you understand everything that's explained on it?
¿Usted entiende todo lo que se explica en el mismo? Yes.
Do you understand that by entering your plea, you are waiving all of those rights?
¿Usted entiende que al declararse culpable, usted renuncia a todos esos derechos? Yes.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
¿Usted entiende que su declaración de culpable sería utilizada en su contra en un procedimiento de deportación si usted no es ciudadano de los Estados Unidos? Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
¿Usted está bajo los efectos de drogas, alcohol o medicina? No.
Mr. Russo, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Señor Russo, usted estipula la jurisdicción y el fundamento de los hechos.
Yes, sir.
Y la información contenida en el descubrimiento. Sí, señor.
And this is case number 21 CT 117.
Y este es el caso 21 CT 117.
I accept your plea to count 1.
Yo acepto su declaración de culpabilidad por el cargo 1.
Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered
Voy a determinar que lo hizo libre y voluntariamente y a sabiendas,
upon a factual basis and in your best interest.
con un fundamento de los hechos y porque es algo que le conviene hacer.
Adjudication, all costs and time served.
Condena de culpabilidad, todos los costos judiciales y el tiempo ya cumplido.
Ms. Karimi, announcement on count 2.
Señorita Karimi, anuncio en cuanto al cargo 2.
Since they announced the no charge on count 2 in this case, I don't have the case number.
La fiscalía anuncia que va a retirar el cargo 2. No tengo el número.
It's 21 CT 117.
Es 21 CT 117.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martinez and Mr. Russo.
Muy bien, gracias, señor Martínez y señor Russo.
Krista Williams. All right, so she was disruptive and removed. Did she apply first or no?
She was disruptive and applied first.
Oh, okay, so she never quite made it. Well, Ms. Hall, do you have any information on this case? It sounds like you knew about that. I'm just wondering if you have any information on her application status. All right, well, so this wasn't necessarily a refusal. She just wasn't able to participate based on her disruptive behavior. My inclination. Yes?
Does have pending misdemeanor cases where the public defender's office already represented her.
Does that make any difference to you, Ms. Hall? She said that you have her on a misdemeanor case or cases. I can either try again tomorrow and see if she's able and interested in participating, or appoint your office and proceed. All right, so the public defender is appointed to represent Ms. Williams contingent upon another application and her qualification. And Ms. Hall, you want to proceed in her absence? She's charged with battery on a law enforcement officer. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, do you have comments on bond? State?
Your Honor, she currently has another pending case where she could post bond 20 CF 1899 and she's asking the court to revoke her ability to post bond in that case.
I have signed a no weapons order. Bond is $20,000, and the state's motion is granted in 20 CF 1899. Enrique Carabalosa. Medical refusal. So he's not here based on a medical issue. Is he in quarantine?
Yes.
And is that, do you believe he's got another 10 to 14 days of quarantine?
I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if you believe, do you have any way to know whether he can join us tomorrow?
I will. Nothing's gonna happen.
Okay. And while she's checking on that, how about Carlos Vasquez? Carabalosa is a 10-day medical issue quarantine, so there's no sense rolling this until tomorrow. Ms. Hall, I would be more inclined to appoint your office. So I'll do that. A public defender is appointed to represent Enrique Carabalosa, contingent upon his application qualification, charged with driving on a suspended habitual offender. I've read the paperwork, find probable cause. Ms. Hall, comments on bond? State?
Your Honor, he's currently out on bond, a $10,000 bond for the same charge that was set by Judge Provost. That case is still pending. He's represented by the public defender's office. The state's asking the court to revoke that bond, 20 CF 951.
And did you say that was a $10,000 bond for the same charge? Bond on the instant case is $15,000, and the state's motion to revoke bond is granted in 20 CF 951. Carlos Vasquez.
The same one, your refusal because of COVID, 10 days.
10 days. Okay, thank you. Same thing, Ms. Hall. I'd like to appoint your office. Do you agree to that? So Mr. Vasquez, public defender, is appointed. He's charged with leaving the scene of a crash, no valid driver's license, and he's here on an out-of-county warrant from Hendry on an FTA for DWLSR. So, Ms. Hall, comments from you?
Just schedule bond on the, the announcement
The out-of-county bond is $264. Ms. Karimi, I want to ask you a question about the first two charges. There is a capious information signed by someone in your office charging 2 counts based on the strength of a 1-page affidavit, which addresses the leaving the scene of an accident, but never the validity of his driver's license that I can see. I'm wondering how that capious information was filed and whether there's any probable cause for count 2, no valid DL.
Your Honor, I don't have the paper file in front of me, so I can't answer that question.
Well, I could. It's 1 paragraph. My probable cause being based upon the following facts on February 28, 2010. This was in 2010. This is a 10 case number. Hadn't noticed that before. At approximately 8:19 p.m., single vehicle crash occurred in front of that address with a vehicle belonging to this person who lives at that address, left the road, struck a tree, airbag deployed, left the scene on foot prior to first responders arriving. Witness was located, advised that the witness observed the crash, saw the defendant exit the vehicle, leave the scene. Other witness provided a possible name. Subject was located, matching the name and photo. A lineup was done, and the witness positively identified the defendant as the driver of the vehicle at the time of the crash. Witness also filled out a sworn statement. Both photo lineup and sworn statement entered into evidence. And that's it as far as the substance of the PC goes. Not a word about no valid DL, and nothing further coming from the state. I'll find no PC on that count. All right, I do find probable cause on leaving the scene of a crash based on the sworn statement I just read. I find no PC on count 2, no valid DL. Ms. Hall, do you have any other comments on bond for count 1? State, any comments on bond for count 2? Sorry, count 1, leaving the scene. Yep, count 1.
No, Your Honor, no comment.
All right, bond on count 1 is $500. Okay, so I am now out of paperwork for 24s, actually with one exception, and that's Mr. Desimore. So before we move on to 215, I'm going to call language line one more time. Oh, should we do this first? This room? These are 215 folks, right? Madam Clerk, I'm trying to avoid having to switch over there. Can we go to 215?
Yes.
And then go back to Mr. Desimore? Is that okay with you?
That's
Okay, Ms. Creamy, you're with us for the 215 as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so NJC, do we just have these 2 folks here for 215?
Yes.
All right, will you both stand up, raise your right hand, face the clerk to take an oath, please?
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. Do we have Mr. Harlow here? No. How about Mr. Hernandez? Okay, let's see. Mr. Pompilus, 20 mm 1640 with Miss Hall. And this is a battery charge. All right. Case number 20MM1640.
The offer is a adjudication of guilt, 90 days in jail with credit for time served, court costs, plus prosecution and costs.
How about no contact? Ms. Karimi, what do you say about the offer?
That's correct, Your Honor. I'm not sure why the prosecutor didn't add no contact, but I would ask for the no contact order.
All right, no probation, no other conditions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, what is your name, please? All right, Ms. Karimi, do you know whether the alleged victim has agreed to that offer?
Your Honor, we've made multiple attempts to reach out to the victim and we have been unable to at this time.
And based on those attempts and your review of the allegations in the case file, you believe the offer is appropriate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pompolis, the offer, again, is an adjudication of guilt, court costs, costs of prosecution, public defender costs, no contact with the alleged victim, and 90 days in jail with credit for all time served. Do you understand that offer? Do you have any questions? Do you want to accept that offer? All right, go ahead. All right, well, you do get credit for all of the time you've already served. Do you have any other questions? Do you want to accept that offer? Are you pleading guilty or no contest? Did you read a plea form? Pardon me? Did you understand everything that's explained on that form? Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights? Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Battery is an enhanceable crime. If you commit this crime again, you may face higher fines, more jail time, and possibly a felony charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Hall, do you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material? Ms. Karimi, anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I'll accept your plea, find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest, adjudication, judgment, and sentence as I previously stated. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you.
Your Honor, is there 90 days to pay?
90 days to pay.
Does that go for any pleas?
Yeah, all pleas without probation. Thank you, and I accept. All right, Dennis Turilli, 20MM 1890, is here with Ms. Fish on the charge of battery, pretrial release, 2 counts. Ms. Fish. Sure. Do you want a moment off the record? All right. And so you want me to leave and you want Ms. Karimi to leave? Okay. We can do that. Ms. Karimi, I'm going to hang up on you. First, I'm going to go off the record, then I'll hang up on you. I'm going to step out. I won't be in the courtroom with Ms. Fish. And then when I'm told to come back in, I'll come back in and call you immediately, okay?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
Okay. We're in recess. What I'll do is I'm going to leave the live stream up, but I'm going to put it on mute. Okay, we are back in session on the record. YouTube live stream is up, and we have Dennis Torelli, case number 20MM 1890, battery, domestic violence, 2 counts violation of pretrial release, represented by Ms. Fish.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm Attorney Monica Fish. This is going to be a plea. We entered a plea of no contest with going to plea of not guilty, and the terms are count 1 battery, adjudication of guilt, all costs, including $243.50 cost of investigation, the Collier County Sheriff's Office, 12 months probation with the Batterers Intervention Program, no alcohol costs, substance abuse evaluation, follow recommendations, no contact with victim, no trespass at 3795 Fieldstone BI Unit 102, Naples, Florida 34109. Count 2, violation of pretrial release, adjudication of guilt, all costs, 15 days jail, credit time served. And count 3, violation of pretrial release, adjudication of guilt, 15 days jail, credit time served, or all costs, 15 days jail, credit time served, concurrent with count 2.
Okay, I got all of that except the address. Can you go over that one more time with us, please, on count 1?
3795 Fieldstone.
One word?
Yes.
Okay, Fieldstone.
B1.
Okay.
Unit 102, Naples, Florida 34109.
Thank you. Ms. Karimi, do you agree with all of those terms?
Excuse me, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Stewart told me before court that he added counts 2 and 3 and bonds were never set. So he doesn't technically have credit on him, but he's been in jail for more than 15 days or 15 days. So the offer or the judgment and sentence on counts 2 and 3 will need to reflect 15 days jail, credit for time served in the amount of 15 days.
Okay, and Ms. Fish, I'm sure you agree to that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just more specificity. And the no contact order, I only heard that with respect to count 1. It's the same person for all 3 counts. Ms. Karimi, you're not seeking a no contact order for counts 2 and 3? I understand it's the same person, but we've got 3 different counts. And I'm asking if they want it on counts 2 and 3. It may not make a lot of sense to you, but it is important to me. Ms. Karimi, how do you feel about that for counts 2 and 3? Was that an intentional omission?
I think it was just an oversight, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Fish, I would require the no contact order on all 3 counts.
No objection.
Do you need some more time to speak with him about that?
No, I think he understands there's no contact regardless.
Okay, I can't remember. Was he sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, sir, what is your name?
Dennis Lewis Cerulli.
All right, you've got 3 counts. Battery, domestic violence is count 1. The offer on that count is an adjudication, court costs, cost of prosecution, cost of investigation in the amount of $243.50 payable to the Collier County Sheriff's Office, 12 months of probation, Batterers Intervention Program, which you must sign up for within 30 days of your release from custody, substance abuse evaluation, follow recommendations, also sign up for within 30 days of your release from custody, no possession or consumption of alcohol, no trespass, 3795 Fieldstone B1, Unit 102 in Naples, 34109, and no contact with Whitney Jones. Count 2 and count 3 are the same, violation of pretrial release condition, and the offer in each is the same. It's an adjudication in both of those counts. Composite costs, 15 days in jail with credit for 15 days, and no contact with Whitney Jones. Do you understand the offer?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Do you want to accept the offer?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Did you read a plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand everything that's explained on the form?
I do.
Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights?
Correct.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
I do.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Battery is an enhanceable crime. If you commit that crime again, you may face higher fines, more jail time, and possibly a felony charge. You understand that?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Ms. Creamy, any further plea colloquy from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Fish, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Creamy, you may have told me this, I can't recall. Was the alleged victim consulted in this?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Stewart has spoken with her and she's in agreement with this offer.
All right, I need just a minute, Ms. Fish, to finish reading the booking sheet, okay?
I think I'm missing one thing. on
Okay.
here where it says jail 15 days. You said you wanted something else on there?
With 15 days credit, specifically with 15 days credit.
It's not like that. Oh, I can't add that. No, it's going to say 15 days credit. It doesn't have more time, more than the 15 days?
So, okay, Ms. Creamy, there's an issue putting that in the clerk's system there. Do you have any objection to simply saying time served to avoid that confusion?
I do, Judge, because this was the offer that was conveyed to the victim. I'm sure there's some way to manually override it or just add a note somewhere. If we add special conditions of probation that probably aren't for the click system, I would imagine there's a way to do this as well.
Okay, what was the sentence?
The sentence on counts 2 and 3, adjudication, all costs, no contact with Whitney Jones, 15 days in jail with credit for 15 days. We're trying to be specific so that he gets credit for that amount of time.
And I know that in felony, we specifically put a number of days of credit.
Okay, they're working on, we've got 2 of them working on it. Let's give them a minute.
Yeah, 15 days, yeah. Hold on.
Ms. Hall, you've canceled both of Mr. Fuller's cases, right? Okay, thank you.
It's not gonna go.
I don't know, I was just told they were canceled. Pardon? I can check, let's see. On which docket did you think? For which, like 215 or?
Yeah, we'll just call over to the jail.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, Judge, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna call over to the jail once this is over and make sure that he gets the 15 days on counts 2 and 3.
All right, that sounds good, thank you. And I'm gonna review the rest of the terms here. Madam Clerk, are you ready on the rest? Okay. I need to clarify batter's intervention within 30 days of release, just like you've got there for the substance abuse evaluation. I want to add that to count 1. And otherwise accept. Sure.
Your stepdad is outside. I'll be waiting to pick you up.
You've added the 30 days. One point of clarification on the JNS, Madam Clerk, you've got Fieldstone Boulevard. The address that was articulated by council is Fieldstone B1 or BI. And I'm looking at the booking sheet, Ms. Karimi, it does appear to say B1 or BI. I'm not sure if the officer intended for that to be a boulevard or not. What address is the state requesting to include on the no trespass order? On the previous page, it says BL, which is also not the standard abbreviation for boulevard, but maybe that's what they intended.
I'm sorry, Judge, I was telling you, it should be Boulevard.
It should be boulevard, okay. All right, so I approve of what you just showed me there. Okay, Ms. Fish, anything else from you? Okay, thank you. All right, NJC, I guess we're gonna go back to 31B for Mr. Desimore. We do. Did we address Martin Ramirez? Okay, thank you. And Kevin Castro Salinas, right? We've done him too?
Well, we have last.
Desimore, okay.
Which one are we doing next?
We are doing Herb Desimore, 21 CT 116, a gentleman who needs a Creole translator.
Go back to the.
I'm going to speak with him and see if he's interested in a public defender. We tried language line without success. All right, Mr. Desimore. Good afternoon. Mr. Desimore, do you want a public defender to represent you? All right, he said yes to the public defender. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, Mr. Desimore has indicated he does want a public defender, so I'll appoint one to represent him. Contingent upon his application, I believe he still needs to do that. So of course it's contingent upon his qualifications. A public defender is appointed. He's charged with DUI and DUI damage to property. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Ms. Hall, do you have comments on bond? State? Bond on count 1 is $2,000. Bond on count 2 is $3,000. Additional condition is no possession or consumption of alcohol and sober link prior to release. Thank you, sir. And I believe that completes our 24's docket. And we've got a few people left on 215. We're going to switch over to IJC. All right, good afternoon, IJC. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I think you've got 3 folks over there, right?
I have 2 at the moment.
All right, do you have Mr. Harlow?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Harlow. Mr. Harlow, you've got 2 cases with us this afternoon, 19 CT 1346. The charges there are DUI, second offense, and no valid driver's license. The second case is 20 MM 1534, and the charge there is retail petty theft. And you've got
2019 cases of EOP.
all right, and you've got the public defender representing you in both cases, and that is Miss Hall.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. Acting on behalf of Mr. Harlow, we're going to be doing an admission in 19 CT 1346, the terms of which are revoke probation and resentence to 9 days in jail with credit for time served and conditions outstanding. And then he's going to be withdrawing his previously entered plea of not guilty in 20 MM 1534 and entering a plea of no contest to adjudication of guilt, 45 days in jail with credit for time served, court costs, cost prosecution, and PD costs to run concurrent with 19 CT 1346.
How about no trespass at the Circle K? I would include that. And state, is there a restitution?
No, Your Honor.
And
And on the 2019 case, you said 90 days jail, 90.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
And so do you otherwise agree with the terms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, will you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You can put your hand down again. You've got 2 cases with me. The first is the violation of probation in 19 CT 1346. I'm going to go over both offers again to make sure you understand them. The offer on the violation of probation is an adjudication, court costs, cost prosecution, public defender costs, 90 days in jail with credit for all of the time you've already served, and your probation is revoked with conditions outstanding. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Any questions about that offer?
No, sir.
Do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, I do.
Do you admit that you were placed on probation in Collier County June 28, 2019 for DUI second?
Yes, I do.
Do you admit you violated conditions 2, 5, 10, and 12 of your probation?
Yes, I do.
In case number 20 MM 1534, the charge is retail petty theft. The offer again is an adjudication, court costs, cost prosecution, public defender costs, 45 days in jail. You get credit for all of the time you've already served, and that time is concurrent with the 90 days in your other case. I would also add a no trespass order. You cannot return to the Circle K located at 12800 East Tamiami Trail in Naples. Do you understand that offer?
Yes, I do.
Any questions about it?
No, I do not.
Do you want to accept that offer as well?
Yes.
All right, did you read a violation of probation admission form and a plea form?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand everything that's explained to you in those 2 forms?
Yes.
Do you understand that by entering your admission and your plea today, you are waiving those rights in both cases?
Yes.
Do you understand that your admission and your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Yes.
Are you okay? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, I am not.
Theft is an enhanceable crime. If you commit that crime again, you may face higher fines, more jail time, possibly a felony charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Hall, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material in both cases? All right, Ms. Creamy, anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I will accept your admission and your plea. Find them freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudication in both cases. Judgment and sentence as I previously stated. Thank you, Mr. Harlow. Good luck to you, sir.
She so
There's no cost in the VOP.
Oh no, I'm yeah.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
Sorry, I the sentencing part. Yeah.
Yep, that's.
Just, never mind. Oh, no. It looks good to you, Judge? It looks good to
Yes,
you?
looks good to me. Accept.
Okay.
Okay, IJC, you either have Mr. Hernandez or Mr. Lopez Ortiz. Esvin Hernandez, 20 CT, 2485. Good afternoon, sir. You're here today charged with driving on a without a valid driver's license. Miss Hall.
Sure, actually, on behalf of Mr. Hernandez, he's going to be withdrawing his previous entry in liability and
Sir, what is your name, please?
Señor, ¿cuál es su nombre, por favor? ¿Perdón? Esvin Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez, do you need the Spanish translator today?
Señor Hernandez, ¿usted necesita hoy el intérprete de habla hispana?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, you're charged with driving without a valid license.
Hoy usted ha sido acusado de manejar sin licencia de conducir válida.
Miss Hall, what's the offer?
Señorita Hall, ¿cuál es la oferta?
withhold of adjudication, unserved, short cross, prosecution.
No sería condenado culpable formalmente, crédito por el tiempo ya cumplido, costos judiciales, costos por el procesamiento judicial y honorarios para el abogado de oficio.
Ms. Karimi, do you agree?
Señorita Karimi, ¿usted está de acuerdo?
Okay, sir. All right, thank you. I'm going to explain the offer to you again.
Señor, le voy a explicar la oferta otra vez.
It's a withhold of adjudication,
No sería condenado culpable formalmente,
which means I'm withholding the conviction,
lo que significa que usted no va a ser condenado.
so you will not be convicted of the charge.
Por lo tanto, no va a ser condenado por el cargo.
You will have to pay court costs,
Usted va a tener que pagar costos judiciales,
costs of prosecution,
costos por el procesamiento judicial,
public defender costs,
honorarios para el abogado de oficio
and time served.
y el tiempo ya cumplido.
Do you understand the offer?
¿Entiende la oferta?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
¿Usted tiene alguna pregunta?
No.
No.
Do you want to accept the offer?
¿Usted quiere aceptar la oferta?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no
¿Usted está
contest?
declarando culpable o no discuto? No discuto.
No disculpe.
No contest.
All right, sir. Did you read a plea form?
Oye, señor, ¿usted leyó un formulario para declararse no discuto? Yes.
Do you understand everything that's explained on the plea form?
¿Usted entiende todo lo que se explica en el formulario para declararse no discuto? Yes.
Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights?
¿Usted entiende que al declararse no discuto hoy, usted está renunciando a todos esos derechos?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Entiende que su declaración de no disputo va a ser utilizada en su contra en un procedimiento de deportación si usted no es ciudadano de los Estados Unidos.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Usted está bajo los efectos de drogas, alcohol o medicina.
Do you have any drugs in your system right now?
¿Usted tiene alguna droga en su sistema ahora mismo?
No.
No.
How about alcohol?
¿Y alcohol?
Tampoco.
Neither.
How about medication?
¿Y medicinas? No.
All right, Ms. Hall, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Señorita Hall, usted estipula el fundamento, la jurisdicción y fundamento de los hechos en el descubrimiento. Sí.
Ms. Karimi, anything else from you?
Señorita Karimi, ¿algo más? No, su señoría.
All right, sir, I will accept your plea.
Señor, voy a aceptar su declaración de no disputo.
Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered.
Voy a determinar que lo hizo libre y voluntariamente y a sabiendas.
Upon a factual basis and in your best interest.
Con un fundamento de los hechos y porque es algo que le conviene hacer.
Withhold costs and time served.
No va a ser condenado culpable formalmente con costos judiciales y el tiempo ya cumplido.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez, and good luck to you, sir.
Gracias, señor Hernández, y buena suerte a usted, señor. Okay, thank you.
IJC, is that it for you?
Your Honor, you mentioned Lopez Ortiz.
Yes, sir.
Looks like he is here and he's on his way. Should we bring him here right now?
Okay, very good. Thank you. We will in a minute. Does IJC repeat that, please?
What was Lopez Ortiz's first name?
Gerardo.
Gerardo? Okay.
Do you need a date of birth?
He's coming down the hallway right now.
Okay. Do you know whether he needs a translator?
Yes, he does.
Okay, thank you. All right, sir, what is your name, please?
Señor, ¿cuál es su nombre, por favor? Gerardo Lopez Ortiz.
Sir, will you please raise your right hand?
Por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
¿Jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? Yes.
All right, Mr. Lopez Ortiz, you're here today charged with driving without a valid driver's license.
Lopez Ortiz, usted se encuentra aquí hoy acusado de manejar sin licencia de conducir válida.
Your attorney is in the courtroom.
Su abogada está en la sala del tribunal.
Ms. Hall.
Señorita Hall.
He's going to be withdrawing his previously entered plea of not guilty
Él va a retirar la declaración emitida anteriormente de no culpable
and entering a plea of no
y
contest,
se va a declarar no disputo.
the terms of which are withhold of adjudication
A cambio de la siguiente sentencia, no va a ser condenado culpable formalmente.
and all costs,
Todos los costos,
including cost of prosecution
incluyendo el costo por el procesamiento judicial
and PD costs.
y honorarios para el PD.
Ms. Karimi, do you agree with the terms?
Señorita Karimi, ¿usted está de acuerdo con ese acuerdo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sí, su señoría.
Mr. Lopez Ortiz, do you understand that offer?
Señor López Ortiz, ¿usted entiende esa oferta?
No disputo.
No contest.
Do you understand the offer?
¿Usted entiende la oferta?
No disputo.
No contest.
Well, no contest is your plea.
Bueno, no disputo es su declaración.
Before I accept your plea, I need to make sure you understand the offer.
Antes de aceptar su declaración de no disputo, yo tengo que estar seguro de que usted entiende la oferta.
So do you understand the offer?
Así que, ¿usted entiende la oferta?
No disputo.
No contest.
Sir, do you speak Spanish or a dialect?
Señor, ¿usted habla español o un dialecto?
Español y dialecto.
Spanish and dialect.
Well, I'm not asking you for your plea.
Bueno, yo no le estoy preguntando cómo se declara.
Your plea, it sounds like, is no contest.
A mí me parece que su declaración es no disputo.
I'm asking whether you understand the offer.
Le estoy preguntando si usted entiende la oferta.
So your answer there should be yes, no, or kind of.
Así que su respuesta debería ser sí o no, o más o menos.
Do you understand the offer?
¿Usted entiende la oferta?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember what it is?
¿Usted recuerda la oferta?
Sí.
Yes.
So you remember that it's a withhold of adjudication and all costs, right?
Usted recuerda que es la siguiente, no sería condenado culpable formalmente y todos los costos, ¿correcto?
No disputo.
No contest.
I'm still asking you about the offer.
Todavía le estoy preguntando acerca de la oferta
And I'm not convinced you understand it
y yo no estoy convencido que usted lo entiende.
because I'm asking you questions and you keep telling me no contest.
Porque le estoy haciendo preguntas y usted me sigue diciendo no disputo.
Claro, que la la oferta, no entendí bien.
Can you repeat the offer? I didn't understand it very well.
Yes, the offer is a withhold of adjudication,
Sí, la oferta es la siguiente: no sería condenado culpable formalmente.
which means you will not be convicted of the charge,
Lo que quiere decir que usted no va a ser condenado por el cargo,
but you will be ordered to pay court costs,
pero usted se le va a ordenar que pague costos judiciales,
costs of prosecution,
costos por el procesamiento judicial
and public defender costs.
y honorarios para el abogado de oficio.
That's the offer.
Esa es la oferta.
Do you understand that?
¿Usted entiende eso?
Me declaro culpable.
I plead guilty.
No, I'm not ready to accept your plea because you haven't answered my question.
No, yo no estoy preparado para aceptar su declaración de culpable porque usted no está contestando mi pregunta.
Do you understand the question?
¿Usted entiende la pregunta? Can you repeat it again, please?
The question is, do you understand the offer?
La pregunta es si usted entiende la oferta.
La oferta que me están dando es de declararme culpable.
The offer that they are giving me is to plead guilty?
No.
No.
Pleading guilty is your decision.
Declararse culpable es su decisión.
You would plead guilty or no contest if you want to accept the offer.
Usted se declararía culpable o no discuto si usted quiere aceptar la oferta.
But first, we need to make sure you understand the offer.
Pero primero tenemos que asegurarnos de que usted entiende la oferta.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
Y eso es lo que estoy tratando de hacer.
Do you want me to repeat the offer?
¿Usted quiere que yo le repita la oferta?
Sí.
Yes.
The offer is a withhold of adjudication.
La oferta es la siguiente: no sería condenado culpable formalmente,
So there's no conviction.
por lo tanto no hay una condena.
And you would have to pay court costs,
Y va a tener que pagar costos judiciales,
costs of prosecution,
costos por el procesamiento judicial
and public defender
y
costs.
honorarios para el abogado de oficio.
Do you understand that?
¿Usted entiende eso? Yes.
Do you have any
¿Usted
questions?
tiene alguna pregunta?
Después de eso, me declaro culpable y no discuto.
After that, I plead guilty and no contest.
Ms. Hall, should we show that as a no contest plea?
Señorita Hall, ¿deberíamos aceptar eso como una declaración de no discuto? Sí, su señorita.
Did you read a plea form?
¿Usted lee el formulario para declararse no discuto?
No tengo.
No, I don't have it.
All right, can we give him a no plea form, please?
Oye, ¿le pueden dar un formulario para declararse no discuto, por favor?
You can just stay there, read that form, and tell me when you're done.
Usted se puede quedar ahí, leer ese formulario y me deja saber cuando termina.
Your Honor, can I ask a question from Lee, or would you like me to leave?
Oh, go ahead.
I couldn't hear the clerk about if the credit issue was solved, or there was going to be a separate workaround, because the judgment is sentenced in the showcase right now.
What? Who are you talking about?
Lee with the 15 days jail, credit for time served in another 15 days.
I thought they said they were going to contact the jail to make sure that it was clear he gets credit for 15 days.
So they're just gonna.
So it sounds like a workaround.
Lisa is working on the judgment because it didn't come out correctly, and she's also going to call the jail.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Sorry. Lisa needs to update the judgment, and she's also going to call the jail, and she'll update showcase.
Miss Hall, does Woodley think you need help, or what's going on here?
No. Hi, Your Honor.
Hi. All right. How are you?
My client is 42 years old. This Paul was nice enough to cover for me, but I wasn't sure if he went or not.
We're in the process. He's just reading the plea form.
Okay, wonderful.
It's a withholding cost. Is that your understanding? Okay. Miss Hall's doing just fine.
Oh, I'm sure
You
she
are
is.
well represented.
Oh, I'm sure she is. Didn't have any doubts.
Miss Creamy, you are officially outnumbered. Go grab Santini.
Judge, I'm in my office on the 7th floor. I've got all these prosecutors within earshot.
He's just reading the plea form.
And I did go over.
Okay, good. You can speak to him if you want to.
Thank you.
if you think it's necessary.
I don't think so.
Whatever you want.
Thank you. Mr. Ortiz, it's Justina, your attorney. Do you have any questions about the plea form or the offer?
Señor Ortiz, es Justina Woodley de su abogada. ¿Usted tiene alguna pregunta acerca del acuerdo, acerca del formulario?
No.
No.
That's the plea form we went over the other day.
Ese es el formulario para declararse no disputo que usted y yo leímos el otro día.
I know you said you read Spanish.
Yo sé que usted dijo que usted sabe leer en español.
Any last minute questions at all?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta de último minuto en absoluto? No contest, just no contest.
Okay.
¿Está bien?
All right, Mr. Lopez Ortiz, do you understand that form that you went over with your attorney?
Oye, señor Ortiz, ¿usted entiende ese formulario que usted leyó con su abogado? Yes.
And do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights?
¿Y usted entiende que al declararse no disputo hoy, usted está renunciando a todos esos derechos? Yes.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
¿Usted entiende que su declaración de no disputo sería utilizada en su contra en un procedimiento de deportación si usted no es ciudadano de los Estados Unidos? Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
¿Usted está bajo los efectos de droga, alcohol o medicinas? No.
Ms. Hall, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Ahora usted estipula la jurisdicción y fundamento de los hechos contenidos en el descubrimiento. Así queda estipulado, señoría.
Sir, I will accept your plea.
Señor, voy a aceptar su declaración de no disputo.
Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered.
Voy a determinar que lo hizo libre, voluntariamente y a sabiendas.
Upon a factual basis and in your best interest.
Porque con un fundamento de los hechos y porque es algo que le conviene hacer.
Withhold and costs.
No va a ser condenado culpable formalmente, más costos.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez Ortiz, and good luck to you, sir.
Gracias, señor López Ortiz, y buena suerte a usted, señor.
All right. Thank you, IJC. I believe that's it for you. Thanks for your help today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we have two cases still to, not actually on the docket, but I just wanted to address Mr. Fuller's two cases.
Before you do,
Yep.
I just want to make sure the time served on it.
There was no time served for Mr. Lopez Ortiz,
So just for cost.
just a withholding costs. Yep. Yep, that's a withhold. Yep, accept. Thank you. And Madam Clerk, these cases may have been taken off your docket. Do you show Talbot Fuller two cases on there?
Yes, I saw it.
We just need to make sure that he has a VOP date with me on Tuesday. He was set for admissions today. I think that's been canceled, but we need to make sure he's back on the docket for Tuesday.
I think he already is, at least that's what it shows in my file.
And that would be for 10 o'clock. I show the last entry here. I'm looking at 19 CT 717. The last entry says today, 1:15 at 2:15. So what's,
On case MM2376, I do have a 119 at 9 a.m. Let me check again.
has he been to a VOP arraignment already? They should go to a 10 o'clock hearing docket, right? Both of these cases. So whatever they say, Madam Clerk, that's what we ultimately need to do. For 18MM 2376 and 19 CT 717, we'll schedule both on my VOP hearing docket, which is January 19th at 10 o'clock. Is that for hearing or status?
Well, I don't think that, I don't know if this is a date for hearing, so.
Ms. Karimi, do you have any input on this, on what we're setting this for on Tuesday?
Judge, I would request a status because we don't have enough time to subpoena witnesses for the hearing on Tuesday morning.
All right, so 119, 10 o'clock for status in both cases.
Your Honor, separately, he has a new case, 21MM43. Should I just go ahead and ask the court to reassign it to you?
Granted.
Just confirm the set number again, I can give it to her.
21MM43.
Yes, thank you.
All right, anything further to come before the court? right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.